so much. And it's truly my honor to be back here. This is my third year, and I made sure that I traveled almost around the world to get here because I did not want to miss meeting all of you and talking to you and participating in TIE this year. So thank you for this honor. So what I want to talk about today as we kick off this track is something that I consider extremely essential, but also something I think that can change your business, whether you're a startup or whether you're a large enterprise. So it's going to be the 5 trends that outthink. And as we're going through, we do have a little competition at TIE. There is a Twitter hashtag at the bottom. Sandy_Carter is my Twitter ID. I'm behind because I just showed up. So if you guys would help me catch up, I would really appreciate that as well. Okay, so let's get started. It was really funny when I was on the plane, I was doing some searches and I came across this TV character. Do you guys remember this? Knight Rider? And I thought, oh my gosh, look at him. He's using IoT. He's talking into his watch. This is years ago, right? It was a fantasy back then when we started looking at these type of things. Like, could we ever imagine a world where something like this would happen? But of course, almost everything that Knight Rider used is actually a reality today. So what I wanted to do is look at some of the things that we today imagine, but trends that we can take advantage of today. Not wait till tomorrow, but leverage to change the future, much like what we saw from Knight Rider. Now, much recently, IBM just named a Chief Digital Officer, signaling a new trend that we believe is happening around the world. My group is now in this Chief Digital Officer area, and it's really about this disruption that's occurring around the world. So if you think about it, digital apps are driving digital disruption. Seems like a very simple statement. But when we talk about a digital app, we're not just talking about an app that's online. We're talking about an app that can dismediate a business function. If you think about Uber, for instance, or Airbnb, their digital app enabled them to dismediate a portion of a business. And that's really what we're looking at today. Now, recently, not just IBM announced this digital officer, but we also now see Gartner, who's got a new practice as well that's around these digital applications. And so what I wanted to do is, as we're thinking about how technology and business come together to change the world, what are those technology trends underneath that will help us create this new digital world? And so I wanted to highlight 5 trends that I think are going to help us in the digital world. And you'll notice they're not all congruous. If you look at it, in the center, in the heart, is cognitive computing. We're going to talk a lot about cognitive. It's come a long way since we talked about it last year. So while not a new trend, it has matured, it's grown up, and we now have not just IBM talking about cognitive, but folks like Microsoft and Google who've joined that bandwagon as well. Last year we talked a little bit about Internet of Things, and I know my dear colleague and friend Rashmi talked about Internet of Things yesterday, but I want to talk about the new trend being cognitive IoT, and I'm going to show you the difference and how that can be leveraged. We're also going to spend some time on gamification, and you might be like, what, gamification? But if you think about the next frontier, what's really the last competitive advantage that's out there? If you look at the latest quality reports, the difference in quality and products is very low now, not like it used to be. The real differentiation is in the experience, the customer experience. And who better for a phenomenal UI than gaming? And how you bring that into the real work world, I think is a big trend that we're going to start seeing more and more of. We're going to talk a little bit about blockchain. Now, blockchain is starting with its roots in financial services, but it will spread tremendously. And I think it's also a technology that cuts across many different languages, Node.js, Java, that's really going to have an impact on what we're doing. And not just in banking, across the board with supply chain. And then finally, last but not least, I also want to raise design thinking. In fact, yesterday I was with a very successful SaaS startup. Their entire success they attribute to the way that they've used and leveraged the design of their technology with design thinking. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Okay? You guys all ready?
Yeah.
You're all awake?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start first.